All right, class, we're going to go over the create outlines, and I just want to show you a quick tutorial to understand how to make these text into shapes. And when you get into your logos, you might want to know how to do this so you can create a logo with type and make it kind of fun and make it towards your personality. So first we're going to go ahead and hit T or come up here and do the type tool and just put in your last name. Again, right now I just use the default. I'm not going to use the default because it's pretty bland, boring, not much character to it. So I'm going to come up to character. If you go to this button right up here, you cannot see the preview of it. But if you click on character, you can kind of see what they look like. So I like to pick stuff with a lot of surface area. Again, one of the all-time favorites of everything is Impact. It has a lot of surface area, a lot you can do with it. You don't have to do something like that, but if you want, you can go find one that has a lot of surface area. Okay, so then I'm just going to make it fit the page and make it large so you can see what you're doing. Color isn't a huge issue at the moment because we're going to change that here in a minute. But if you wanted to, you could highlight it and choose some colors. If you have some color choices, go to the color picker and pick the ones you like, just like so. Again, we're going to change it all in a minute. What you do, once you have this selected, we want to make a copy of it. So I have two of them. And I do that just because I don't want to lose my font. Unless for some reason later I want to go and change the font, it's easily done. I can just come up here and highlight it. But once we do the create outlines, it is not a font anymore. For example, I'm going to come up here. I can either right click, which is control click, create outlines, or I can come up here to type, create outlines. Or if you notice, it's Command Shift O. So what happened, if you notice the difference, has these little nodes or anchor points that we've been using for the past 3 weeks. And now we can edit this. Right now it's all grouped together. So the next step you'd have to do is ungroup it. Command Shift G. Okay. Once I do that, now if you notice, I can click off and on any one of these items. They're individualized. Up here, it's still text. I cannot do that. For example, now I can physically move each piece where I want it. I can send it to the back, Command Shift left bracket. Now that's on top. I can go in here and edit the color, which you could have done this before, not a big deal. But now we have these. I can also now edit each point, just like you did with your shapes. If I wanted this to come over here for some reason, doesn't look very cool. But you have the opportunity to do what you need to do. I can also now, if you notice, maybe I want to join these two. I'm going to get it fairly close. I zoom in. I'm doing a quick tutorial because I only have 10 minutes on this program that records my voice. So I'm going to come in here and match. Try to get this lined up as good as possible. There's a little bump in there I'm not fond of. I'm going to take that node out. And this is all trial and error. The more you do it, the better you'll get. I'm going to take this little bump out. Just because I want to try something. I'm just showing you can do anything now with these letters because they're not letters anymore. They're just shapes. Now one thing we did get into is a little bit of the Pathfinder tool. If I go up here to Window, again, Pathfinder, it might already be open on for you. But I'm going to combine these two shapes. Now they're two different shapes, or it's one shape now. I know it took over the color, but now you can kind of see I've got a GU and they're combined together. They look like they're supposed to be together. It doesn't look all choppy and stuck on top of each other, but now I have that. You've noticed you can go through with the knife tool just like we did before. We can cut this back into pieces and make these two different colors if we wanted to. So if I had it selected, I could come through with the knife tool just like we've done before and freehand slice it. And then I can come in here now, change my color to my blue, and have something like such. But again, it is still well, it is not one shape just because I got rid of it. But now I have our shape. Okay, so there's some things we can do. I also want you to experiment with, obviously, the placing of it, how they overlap. You can rotate them. Again, they're just shapes. But now we can go up here to effects, and we can start messing around with our effects, our distortions, and etc. So I want you to just kind of play through all these. I'm going to go to distort, pucker, and bloat. This is a kind of a neat one. Okay, I'm going to move this over, and you can kind of see what it does. Get too much, it goes crazy, obviously. Or the other way is it's more of a rough design. And let's go ahead and put a stroke on this one. Let's make it a gradient. And I'm going to add more points. You can kind of see what we're doing here. We'll change the color once again. So that's another one. I can come in and now add a drop shadow. I believe that is, I gotta go back and find everything again because it is somewhere. Drop shadow. And again, move it over, preview, and you can start playing with all of these. Perfect. So what you're going to do is to edit these, and all of them have to be different. Okay, they need to be completely different from one to the other. I want you to experiment. You can even take this and, for example, I got both of these selected. Try your Pathfinder palette. Exclude the overlapping. You can get some really neat effects when you do these things. Some of these won't work. For example, that got rid of my letters, but I still have a neat shape I can work with. So I might do something as such where I copy these, take this, maybe this is what I wanted, or this one, and I can put this somewhere inside of my drawing. I don't know what for, but you might have an idea. Or maybe I just want to put this back on top and do something weird with it. Obviously, I want to move it to the front. And I've got something, I don't know, just playing. So that's what you need to go through and do, is just come through and have fun with all of these. There is a ton of different things you can do. Until you play with it, you'll never know what you're able to do. Okay, and there's just a kind of weird design. Again, everything needs to have a different color, needs to have a different shape to it. Again, just kind of, this right here, this bottom is more for the raster drawings. Up here is more for what you're going to work with. You really don't want to mess too much with this up top or down below, because this is more for your raster. Up top is where we have the most fun with what we're doing. Okay, if you have any questions, make sure you holler. Have a good one.